Okay, GravCom kids, welcome back to the GravCom Darkroom. Today what we're going to do is to take the film that we put into the development tank, and we're actually going to use chemistry, some chemicals, to develop that film. Okay, first things first, safety. You're going to need some safety gear to do this, one of which is your chemistry goggles to avoid splashes, gloves, apron, okay? Safety glasses, gloves, apron. All right, you can probably hear it in the background, but you should always check. There's a red signal indicator over on the other side of the darkroom. I'll be sure to point that out to you before we actually start working in here, to make sure that the vents are working and operational. Okay, this huge gray kind of shelf system is actually one of two major vents that ventilate the GravCom darkroom so that we can work safely in here. Before you do anything in the darkroom, make sure that those vents are on. They come on automatically, but we need to double check them. Okay, great. So the chemistry required. I mentioned that there's a left to right workflow in our GravCom photography experience. When we put the little film into the development tank, we worked left to right. We are going to work left to right with the chemistry. The first one is developer for film. It's very important to understand that there are two kinds of developer, and to make sure that we are using developer for film. If you use the developer for paper, this is not going to work. Okay, developer for film. This starts a chemical reaction with the emulsion of the film. Silver particles fall away, leaving behind some of your image. So the developer for film. We're going to put that in the tank for a certain period of time. And after that cycle, we're going to move on to the next chemical, which is stop bath. Stop bath. What that does is it stops the chemical reaction that the developer started. If you don't stop the chemical reaction, all the silver will fall away and all the particles of the emulsion that you want to keep for your image will be destroyed. So we stop the chemical reaction. Once again, we're going to pour it into the development tank for a certain period of time. After the stop cycle, we're going to shift to a different color jug. These are white, this is brown. This is the fixer or hardener. What we do and use this is for making that emulsion really hard once it's been developed. So it's no longer a gel per se, it's just a hardened up version of it. Okay, notice it's got the funnel on it, it's in a brown jug, we handle it a little bit different. We recycle the fix over and over again. And then, of course, the sink that we're working in front of, that is where you're going to do all the magic, and the development tank itself. We are going to use water as a rinse for our last stage. So, to get right to it, I have put my film into the film tank, light tight, and what I'm going to do is pour developer into this tank, directly into the tank. So, I have my developer here, and we are going to develop and put the chemistry in here for 10 minutes. 10 minutes. So I'm going to take my developer, I'm going to move all of this stuff into the sink, and over the sink, I'm going to pour right into that little hole. And now I see that the chemistry is pooling right by this little hole. That shows me that I've got enough chemistry in here. So I'm going to do this for 10 minutes. 10 minutes. So I'm going to set my watch, my timer, for a 10-minute development cycle. And this is really important. Every 30 seconds, you need to agitate this for 5 seconds, okay? And what I mean by that is you just pick it up right here and you agitate it. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, and you put it down. You must agitate it. You must agitate it, invert the chemistry so that emulsion is being bathed with the development chemistry. So this is very important. If you just let it sit there, you get lazy, it's not going to work, or it's not going to work as well as it should. Okay, so 10-minute development time. Okay, at the end of the 10-minute development cycle, what you're going to do, remember we're developing the film using the developer for 10 minutes. We're going to agitate every 30 seconds for 5 seconds. At the end of that 10-minute process, what you're going to do is directly into the sink, you're going to just dump the chemistry out. You're not going to open the lid of the development tank yet. Not yet. Still is developing. So we pour it right down into our development sink. Our sinks are tied into the science wing, so the chemistry is dealt with in an environmentally safe way. So we go right down the drain with the chemistry. Now, we need to stop that chemical reaction. So we're going to use our stop bath. This stops the chemical reaction that you started. Once again, I'm going to pour the chemistry directly into the tank, the same volumes. You want to make sure that you see that chemistry pool up right by the little hole in the funnel to make sure that you have enough chemistry into the tank. And for this part of the development process, you are going to agitate it for 60 seconds. Just count to 60. 1001, 1002, 1003, and so on. And you're going to do that for 1 minute. Right over the sink, right inside of the sink. Just a gentle agitation for 60 seconds. At the end of the 1 minute stop cycle, you've used the stop bath for 1 whole minute. You've agitated it the entire time. You are going to dump it right down the drain. Awesome. Okay, the next thing we need to do is we need to use the fix. It's usually in a brown jug. It's always in a brown jug. It's labeled clearly as fixer. Once again, we have the funnel on top of it. We handle this one a little bit differently. We recycle the fix. We do not pour it down the drain at the end of the cycle. That's why the funnel is here to remind us. The same volumes, once again, we are going to pour the chemistry, the fixer chemistry, directly into the tank. Now the fixer we are going to use for 6 minutes. 6 minute fix. 6 fix. Okay? We are going to agitate it like we've done for the developer 5 seconds every 30 seconds. So you kind of watch your watch and you say, all right, 30 seconds have gone by. You give it a gentle agitation every 30 seconds for 5 seconds and then set it down. Okay, that's for 6 minutes. Now that time may vary. The fixer because we recycle it, it starts out really strong and then it gets a little weaker. So always check with your instructor what the fix time should be. But we are starting with a baseline of 6 minute fix. Okay, at the end of the 6 minute fix cycle, what we're going to do, important to remember, we're recycling the fix. So we're going to get our funnel, and instead of pouring it down the drain, we are going to pour it directly back into the fixer jug. Carefully putting the fixer back into the fixer jug. Recycling the fix. As you can see, this is a bit of a messy job, and we are dealing with chemicals. That's why we're wearing the goggles, the gloves, the apron, and we're working in a well-ventilated, official darkroom space. Okay, so we've used the developer, we've used the stop bath, we've used the fix. The next stage is to take the water. We're going to blend hot and cold water, make it warm. And what we're going to do is we're just going to let that kind of rinse in there, just kind of fill the tank, spill over the top into the sink for a 5-minute wash. 5-minute wash. So we develop, we stop, we fix, we rinse. Okay? 10-minute development, 1-minute stop, 6-minute fix, 5-minute wash. The developer and the fix needs to be agitated 5 seconds every 30 seconds. Okay, the stop cycle, you're agitating it for the full minute. Okay, so we're going to just let that rinse in, rinse out, gets all the extra chemistry and particles off of the film, cleans up our film. So we are rinsing that. Soon we'll be able to open up the development tank and see that we've successfully developed the roll of film. Okay, GravCon kids, at the end of the 5-minute rinse, we're going to turn the water off. We're going to turn over the development tank, pour out any remaining water, and here's the moment of truth. We are now going to open the development tank, take our lid, and now we're just going to turn the development wheel in 2 opposite directions, and that will allow the film to easily come off of the film reel. And it looks like we've got some really good results. Okay, this is what you want to be seeing. You want to be seeing the negative images that you captured with your camera. And it looks like I've got some really good densities here, meaning my blacks are really black, my highlights are really sharp, and I've got a range of gray tone in between. Awesome. So this did work. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my 2 fingers, I'm just going to kind of squeegee the excess water off of the negatives. And then I'm going to use a clothespin on the top and a clothespin on the bottom, right by the tongue of the film. So when that dries, it'll dry nice and straight and not all curled up, because if it's all curled up, it presents a problem when we go to our next step, which is to actually make some pictures from these negatives, some positive prints from these negatives. Okay, so last thing, some housekeeping. You're going to rinse and dry all of the components of the development tank. Don't leave me any dirty dishes. And then we're going to put that away. Okay, so the next person, might even be you, can come back in and have a nice cleaned up development tank ready to do your magic. Once again, safety reinforcement, goggles, gloves, apron, vents that we hear. We check the light that it's on, because we're going to do this safely. Although you've been wearing gloves, when you're done, take the gloves off and wash your hands. Wash your hands. Okay? So, that's it for developing the film with chemistry. Thank you.